They call them gods, but these were not just deities. They were divine energies that guided entire civilizations. Let me break down the Yoruba, Akan, Iwe, and Fon spiritual systems. First up, the Yoruba pantheon. You've probably heard of the Orishas, like Shango, Oya, and Oshun. The truth is, the Orishas aren't gods in the Western sense. They are forces of nature, manifestations of Olodumare. Each Orisha represents something within you, within the earth, and within spirit. You don't worship them. You connect with them. They teach us how to live in balance with nature, ancestors, and ourselves.
The Akan people of Ghana call these forces the AYIBOBO.
These spirits are linked to rivers, mountains, planets, even the soul of a person.
They serve Nyame, the supreme creator, just like Olodumare.
To the Akan, spirituality is deeply tied to ancestry and cosmic order.
The Iwe and Fon people in Togo, Benin, and parts of Ghana follow Vodou.
Yes, the real Vodou, not the Hollywood fear-mongering nonsense.
Vodou is a system of honoring the spirits called Vodouns and the ancestors. These spirits are believed to guide daily life, healing, justice, and nature. It is believed that every tree, storm, and river has a spirit essence. Don't mistake this belief for superstition because it is sacred science. All four traditions teach this. We are never alone. Nature is alive. Spirit lives inside you.
Ancestors
walk beside you. These four belief systems didn't just believe in gods. They understood energy. They practiced harmony. They honored spirit, nature, and bloodline. African spirituality is not about fear, it's about alignment. What did you grow up believing about African spirituality? Drop a comment if this opened your eyes, and follow Dumuzid. We're reviving the roots they tried to erase.
Welcome, everyone, to Ifa Coding, Evolution of Computers. In this video, we will take a journey from ancient wisdom to modern technology to discover how a new vision called Ifa Coding is reshaping what it means to compute. Because computing isn't just about machines anymore. It is about energy, life, and the universal intelligence that connects us all. Let's start with a question. What if numbers were not just symbols, but forms of energy? In normal computers, everything is built from bits, the binary numbers of 0 and 1s. Quantum computers use qubits, which can be both 0 and 1 at the same time. But in Ifa computing, we go beyond both. Here, we use something called the Ifa bit, a universal bit that unites classical and quantum computing inside one living system of energy. This system is powered by Ifa coding, a set of 256 unique energy signatures known as the Ifa code, Odu Ifa in Yoruba. They come from ancient African knowledge, especially the Ifa divination system of Yoruba people, which has guided wisdom and decision-making for thousands of years. Now, imagine a universal computer, one that explains how every other computer works. That's what the Ifa computer, or the computer, represents. Known as the Oduifa in Yoruba, computer means the computer of energy, or the computer of everything. It brings together classical computers, quantum computers, and even natural computers, like your brain, DNA, or the universe itself. Ifa computer unifies classical computers, your everyday devices, quantum computers, operating with atoms and light, natural computers, the brain, DNA, even the cosmos itself, other possible kinds of computers. And here is the twist. Computation didn't start in the 20th century. It began long ago in systems like Ifa, Afa, and I Ching, where energy and symbols were used to process knowledge and information. The I Ching uses 64 codes. The Osha system uses 16, and Ifa uses 256. These were, in fact, the earliest computers, powered not by electricity, but by intelligence and energy itself. From the ancient foundation, computing evolved. From Orisha computers, who are the cosmic beings who processed nature's code, to human computers, who calculated by hand, and finally to machines, our modern-day devices. The Orisha and human computers are natural computers, while modern computers are artificial computers. Looking at computing through deep perspective or lens of Ifa, we are reminded that energy is the real computer. Every human, every cell, every star is part of that great natural computation. Now is your moment. Join the Ifa Coding Academy, also known as Ifa Codemy, a movement where ancient wisdom meets modern innovation. Here, you will learn through the Ifa model of education, a holistic system that connects science, art, mathematics, and spirit into one language of understanding. At Ifa Codemy, you won't just learn to code. You will learn to think like the polymaths known as Orisha in Yoruba. You will explore how energy transforms into knowledge and information, how codes shape reality, and how to use this insight to create real-world solutions in technology, environment, health, and beyond. Whether you're a student, a parent, or a professional, this is your invitation to be part of the next evolution of learning. Enroll today at sendproject.org/the Ifa Coding Academy, and let us code a new future for humanity. Ifa Computer, the computer for everything.
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. We like to say Hoodoo, Voodoo, or Voodoo Hoodoo 101. Powered, produced, promoted, sponsored, and supported by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. New Orleans' annual International Voodoo Day is inspired by National Voodoo Day in Benin every January 10th and led by Black community members here locally. New Orleans International Voodoo Day is a day of collective remembrance and spiritual reparation that is preceded by a symposium, an Afroecology exhibit, and also includes a procession to the monuments at the sites of slavery in New Orleans, a ritual to account for and seek absolution for the city's and the country's participation in the institution of slavery, homage to those ancestors who suffered through and survived the transatlantic slave trade, and honor and appreciation for the achievements of those who came out of the oppression. 2 days, May 23rd and 24th, Saturday, May 23rd, and Sunday, May 24th, 2026. 2 days for education, creative expression, elevation, cultural exchange, and above all, healing through authentic Vodou traditions handed down through generations. We offer a path to healing from the ongoing ramifications of slavery and racism in the United States. Through an international partnership, New Orleans International Voodoo Day becomes a major annual event in New Orleans, bringing peace, relief, and healing, and connecting New Orleans with Benin, Haiti, the major points of the transatlantic slave trade, and hubs of voodoo around the world, as well as all nations where African traditional religions are practiced, and in healing circuit and drawing visitors from around the globe. We continue to be grateful and thankful for your continued support and participation, volunteership, donations, sponsorship by visiting us at www.voodooday.org. Again, you can get more and always upcoming updated information at www.voodooday.org. VODOUDAY.org. VODOUDAY.org. And we're certainly thankful for your continued support and participation in this live Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time podcast on a social media platform near you: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, or by way of the QR code displayed at the top right corner of your screen. We're certainly thankful for our continued support and participants in the live chat. Greetings to you and yours, Daniel Neal, faithful member of our community. Greetings, Dustin Cook. We certainly appreciate you for coming through. To my beloved godchild, Nina Lloyd, we certainly do appreciate you for coming through. Greetings and salutations, local beloved Elijah J. Dupois. Love my New Orleans, and we certainly do appreciate your continued support, visitation, participation in this powerful and growing event. And of course, we're always grateful and thankful for the continued vocation, support, and commitment of our panelists and beloved co-hosts, the Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez, community activist, community mother, community educator. We will be unmuting you momentarily. My second priest, Tyson Allen Horn, my godson, also our executive producer of Respect the Voodoo, an initiated member of Le Source Ancien on 4, and a committed co-administrator of NOIVD. Another beloved and committed co-administrator of NOIVD, Elder Reggie. Elder Reggie, we identify as Green Soap, leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, and my beloved godchild, first priest, armor bearer, and our Black Hawk Voodoo Wildman, Brother Joshua Nylan Tanner, and committed member of, committed co-administrator of NOIVD, and an initiated member of La Source Ancien on 4. And another beloved initiated member of La Source Ancien on 4 is our Queen Mother, Bianca Johnson Plessy, also an active participant and co-administrator of NOIVD. I certainly do appreciate all of your continued support and participation, and I will be bringing my beloved panelists and co-hosts in momentarily on tonight's a continuing show topic on Santa Muerte, or the Holy Death. We've been sharing the incorporation of Santa Muerte into African American and Afro Caribbean traditions, such as hoodoo, root work, conjure, and voodoo, which exemplifies nuanced cultural adaptation driven by shared principles of spiritual agency, protection, and certainly negotiation with the unseen forces. And so tonight we continue our discussion on Santa Muerte, on the synchronization of Santa Muerte into ATR, or African or Aboriginal African traditional religious systems and practices. So, my beloved community, honored guests, seekers of wisdom, welcome. Tonight, we continue our discussion on Santa Muerte, and we gather at the crossroads where cultures meet, where ancestors whisper, and where the living negotiate meaning with the unseen. We stand in a city that knows something about crossroads, New Orleans, the place where Africa, the Caribbean, Indigenous America, and Europe braided themselves into a single unbroken rhythm. And in this space, we explore a figure who has traveled far beyond her birthplace, Santa Muerte, the Mexican folk saint of death, protection, justice, and truth. She is not a Loa of Haitian Vodou, nor an Orisha, nor a spirit of Louisiana Voodoo. Yet she walks among these traditions because people carry her with them. Migration carries spirits, DNA carries spirits, ancestral bloodline and lineage carries spirits, and devotion carries spirits. Need carries spirits. And so tonight we explore how Santa Muerte became recognized, not absorbed, not replaced, but recognized within Vodou, within New Orleans, and within Louisiana Voodoo. And we explore her colors, those powerful orientations that help devotees understand how to approach her in practice. So let us begin with a truth. Synchronization. Synchronization is not the same thing as syncretism. Syncretism collapses traditions into each other. Synchronization is different. It is the moment when two traditions look at each other across the crossroads and say, I see you. In Vodou, the Loa are not replaced by saints. They are mirrored by them. The saint becomes a mask, a teaching tool, a point of recognition. The Loa remains sovereign. In Louisiana Voodoo, where ancestors and spirits of place guide the work, Santa Muerte becomes a respected guest, an honored presence for those who call her. She is not absorbed, she is acknowledged. This is synchronization, parallel respect, not replacement. New Orleans is a city that lives with death openly. Our cemeteries rise above the ground. Our sacred second lines dance through grief. Our culture teaches that death is not a terror, but a transition. Santa Muerte resonates here because she protects the marginalized, and New Orleans has always been a refuge for the marginalized. She speaks plainly, and this city respects plain speech. She accepts everyone, queer, trans, undocumented, poor, wealthy, devout, doubtful. And New Orleans has always been a home for those who don't fit anywhere. She understands survival, and this city has survived everything from colonization to hurricanes. So when devotees build altars to her in New Orleans, they are not importing something foreign. They are extending a lineage of death honoring, that already lives here. The colors of Santa Muerte, we now turn to the heart of tonight's teaching, the colors. Santa Muerte is often depicted in different robes, each representing a specific orientation of her power. These colors are not arbitrary. They are devotional languages. They help the devotees understand how to approach her, how to speak to her, and how to align their intentions. We will describe each color, its meaning, and how practitioners across traditions use these orientations symbolically and respectively. I will not give ritual instructions, but I will give the cultural and spiritual framework, beginning with white for purification, peace, clarity. White is the color of cleansing, ori, healing, and spiritual clarity. In Vodou, white is associated with the Rada spirits, cool, ancestral, orderly. In Louisiana Voodoo, white is the color of ancestral elevation and spiritual cooling. In Ifa, white is the day of Ose Obatala. When devotees approach Santa Muerte in white, they seek peace, protection, and purification. They seek to clear obstacles, calm conflict, and restore balance. Red, love, passion, and vitality. Red is the color of the heart, of desire, attraction, and emotional intensity. In Voodoo, red is associated with the Petuo spirits, hot, fiery, transformative. In New Orleans, red is the color of power, heat, and movement. Devotees call on Santa Muerte in red when they seek strength in relationships, courage, or the fire to pursue their goals. Black is the color of deep protection, of truth, of the shadow that reveals what others hide. Protection, justice, and certainly boundaries. In Vodou, black is associated with the Gede, with the spirits who govern the mysteries. In Louisiana Voodoo, black is the color of warding, reversal, and spiritual defense. Santa Muerte in black is not evil. She is the guardian who stands at the door and says, not this one, and not today. Gold, prosperity, success, opportunity is the color of abundance, of open roads, of elevation. In Vodou, gold is associated with spirits of wealth and opportunity. In New Orleans, gold is the color of celebration, achievement, and good fortune. Devotees approach Santa Muerte in gold when seeking financial stability, career advancement, or the opening of new paths. Blue is the color of serenity, insight, and emotional intelligence. Blue also represents the protection against the Hanks in the Deep South. Wisdom, calm, and communication. Blue is the color of serenity, insight, and emotional intelligence. In Vodou, blue is associated with the oceanic spirits, with depth and depth, D-E-P-T-H, and intuition. In Louisiana Voodoo, blue is the color of healing waters and spiritual cooling. And it was thought that the Hanks could not cross water, could not pass over water. So we often painted the porches, the front stoop ceilings in the color of Hank blue. Many artists today utilize that color and symbolism in their works. Santa Muerte in blue helps devotees speak truth, resolve conflicts, and think clearly. Green, justice, legal matters, and truth. Green is the color of fairness, balance, and the pursuit of what is right. In Vodou, green is associated with spirits of nature, growth, and equilibrium. In New Orleans, green is the color of renewal and righteous actions. Devotees call upon Santa Muerte in green when navigating legal challenges or seeking justice. Purple, spiritual power, transformation, and mastery. Purple is the color of deep spiritual work, intuition, and transformation. In Vodou, purple is associated with the Gede and with spiritual elevation. In Louisiana Voodoo, purple is the color of mastery, insight, and ancestral wisdom. Santa Muerte in purple is for seeking spiritual growth or deeper understanding. Brown, stability, home, and practical matters. Brown is the color of grounding, of the earth, of home and everyday life. In Vodou, brown is associated with earth spirits and practical concerns. In New Orleans, brown is the color of rootedness and community. Devotees approach Santa Muerte in brown for stability, employment, and domestic harmony. And rainbow, totality, integration, and wholeness. The rainbow orientation is one of the most profound of Santa Muerte. It represents the total spectrum of her colors, all domains, all possibilities, all colors present and reflected through clear quartz crystal. In Vodou, the rainbow recalls AYIBOBO, the serpent of the sky, the ark of creation. In New Orleans, the rainbow is a symbol of diversity, resilience, and community. Santa Muerte in rainbow is not for single intention. She is for alignment, for balance, for the fullness of life and death together. So as I begin to invite my beloved co-hosts and panelists to come in, we're going to begin to share and discuss how practitioners utilize these colors. Across Vodou, New Orleans, and Louisiana Voodoo, practitioners use color as a symbolic language. While each tradition has its own rules, its own boundaries, its own sacred knowledge, they are shaped principles that guide respected practice. Color as intention. Colors help clarify the purpose of the work. They help the devotees speak clearly without confusion. Color as relationship helps define the tone of the conversation with the spirit. White speaks differently than red, black speaks differently than gold. Color as alignment helps the practitioner align their own energy with the work. If you seek peace, you approach in peace. If you seek justice, you approach with clarity. Color as boundary helps maintain spiritual boundaries. They remind the practitioner that not all work is the same. Not all spirits are approached in the same way. And color as cultural bridge in New Orleans, where traditions blend without losing themselves, color becomes a shared language. A devotee of Santa Muerte may use white in a way that resonates with Vodou's understanding of coolness. A devotee of Vodou may recognize Santa Muerte's black robe as a symbol of protection familiar to the Gede. This is synchronization, not merging, but mutual recognition. So in my conclusion, as I unmute my beloved co-host, Santa Muerte is not a Loa. She is not a spirit of Vodou or Louisiana Voodoo, but she is a powerful presence who walks with those who call her. And she is welcome in New Orleans because this city understands the truth she carries. Death is not the enemy. Death is the witness. Death is the companion who walks with us from the first breath to the last. Her colors teach us how to speak to her. Her presence teaches us how to live honestly. And her synchronization with Vodou and New Orleans traditions teaches us that spirits travel with people and people carry their spirits wherever they go. May we honor her with respect. May we honor our ancestors with integrity. And may we continue to build bridges across traditions, cultures, and communities, just as this city and New Orleans International Voodoo Day, our annual New Orleans International Voodoo Day, strives to continue to do. So please do come on in, beloved Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez, Second priest, Brother Thompson Horn, Elder Reggie Green Soap, First priest Joshua Nylan Tanner, and our beloved Queen Mother, Sister Bianca Johnson Plessy. How you doing?
Hey everyone, how are you?
Hello,
Good night.
hello, good night.
Good night. I had a question. Why is Santa Muerte not considered an Iowa or Orisha? Hello?
Can
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sister Val?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I mean, it's a good question, and I definitely would like, just to be set straight if I misspeak or anything, but because my overall understanding is, she is a representation of the mother of the dead coming from the Aztec heritage, as well as the father. It's like the father and mother of the dead. But and I wanted the Divine Prince to kind of touch base on, because he talked about the difference between synchronization and how I spoke on yesterday, how when they were giving imagery and iconography to her, it was like the angel of death represented something that was closest in comparison. So the imagery that we see of a skeleton with the long robes and the scythe and holding the globe and so forth, that's kind of, it's very similar to what you'll see in Catholicism and some of the saints over there. But to answer that question is that her origin comes from the Aztec history. So it's not the same origins as the Loas or some of the other Orishas that we practice in like African traditional religions. Now, Divine Prince, am I correct in saying it that way?
Yeah, that was pretty accurate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the origin of Santa Muerte is from the preservation of those cultures, trying to preserve those indigenous cultures amongst the oppression of the colonizers that came with Catholicism. So
yeah, and it reminded me, especially from New Orleans. Speaking from New Orleans standpoint, it's like I was in the documentary. We talked to one voodoo priest who spoke. He just it's like when he was showing me his elekes, the traditional Orisha beads that he had, but he had a Catholic rosary, and he wore over top of the Orisha beads, and he was saying that was kind of like a representation of how things used to be, where you would hide your traditional African spirituality behind the Catholicism because of the culture at the time and just the powers that be. So there's a little bit of that in there, but the Divine Prince was talking about how New Orleans embraces like everybody coming in, because they're like, okay, this is everybody's welcome here, and we're all acknowledge each other.
Yeah, all the people that that have these symbols and rituals and stuff, we all meet here and share it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and share the knowledge and see what the other person is doing. Basically, our houses so close together.
Yeah, we have a
You can't help.
We got a common and shared history with those people down there in Aztec, with the colonial, oppression and Catholicism coming in and looking at all indigenous people and their practice as heathenistic and savage and needed to be converted. So I think that's what we share mostly in common, in my opinion. Just that we had to face that, and that's how they utilize or try to preserve what they had.
Can I ask one thing too, and just your opinion, especially Brother Joshua? It's like it seems to me that it's definitely about inclusion, tolerance, respect to one another.
you know, like I felt so bad recently, and this is not the same topic, but I hopefully we could table it if need be. But you know, there's been in the news about the monks um
Walking.
who've been walking. They walked through my neck of the woods here in Georgia, and it just saddened me to see people standing out there with signs talking about. And I'm not trying to get into a debate about Christ and this and that, but you know, they were just holding signs up like, you know, Christ is the way and you need to stop what you're doing and follow him. And just the opposition and all the arguing going on back of, and it's like, you know, if that's their walk, you know, that's their Buddhist practice and walk, and they're doing something for peace. So it kind of goes to show that, you know, in this, and it was, and there was a person that, he was a Black American that was holding up a sign. So it's like, listen, of all people to know how hard it is to represent your heritage or your way of worshiping or your way of praising spirit, you know, why be so judgmental of somebody else in their walk, in their path?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I heard about those guys walking, and yeah, that's definitely like, I commend anybody that can do anything like that physically. I mean, it takes a very strong mind, spirit, and physical body to be able to do something like that. And I think that what they're doing is a good thing, and it's for a good cause. But you know, people, just like how we've been forced upon or put into situations where we've been, how can I say it, taken away from the things that we know, and then shove something within our, how can I say it, frame of thought because of force, legal force. I think that we got to be careful how we, just like being in a bad relationship. You're in a bad abusive relationship, you can't just go jump into another relationship and think the abuse is not going to continue. So you got to be careful how you treat other people that are outside of your scope and perspective. It doesn't mean that they're wrong, but everybody has, you know, their right to be and believe what they want to believe. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't see we how that's productive at all. I
Mm-hmm.
don't say that much.
Yeah, well, can I
Yeah,
come in a little bit to Sister Tony question? Sister Bianca, you had something to say? Then I'll go after you.
oh no, I was just good evening to everyone out there. I just had some questions for you guys to see if you guys can better explain to the audience out there. So
Yeah.
I actually had talked to quite a few people, you know, just kind of getting their perspective or insight on what they think about Santa Moretti. I can never pronounce her name right. But I'm gonna call her Holy of Death. um
That's the one thing.
So when people are building altars, so say for instance, we had one person that they decided at that moment that they wanted to work with her, like, you know, honor her, build the altar, just for whatever their purpose is. And sometimes when you're doing that, it takes a lot. It's not just throwing, like creating a space for her and just throw some stuff on there and then
Mm-hmm.
you go on about your everyday life. You know, a lot of stuff takes a lot of energy and a lot of work when you're building something for her, finding the right area that's like quiet, somewhere where you can build that connection with her without having a lot of noise or distractions and stuff around when you're building that relationship with her. And it's also just about, you know, taking the time to learn about her, study about her, knowing the things that she likes, just to kind of create those boundaries and stuff with her before you go to asking, you know, asking her anything that you want to do with her or that you will want her to do for you. Say for instance, that particular person may decided that at that moment that, you know, they did, you know, they worked with her for a while and then all of a sudden they decided that they wanted to cut ties, like cut ties with that relationship with her, or they decided that, you know, they don't want to do an altar no more, or they kind of, you know, oh, I did what I needed to do with her. She did what she needed to do for me. I also, gave her my promises, my devotion and everything to her. So now I'm at the point that I'm ready to end my work with her or in my relationship with her. What are some advices out there that you give people who decided that they wanted to cut ties? And that's not even just with her, but also for other different loas or different spiritual or entities that people are working with. How are they, what is the proper way to remove an altar and to cut those boundaries and end those relationships properly without causing any disturbance or negative forces?
Can I take a stab at that? First, I want to thank Sister Bianca for the question. Thank Divine Prince for an excellent topic and the esteemed panel and all in the listening area. I wanted to try to go back to Sister Toni's question. And I'm only, because most of my time in study has been into the West African teachings. And from the West African teachings on voodoo, voodoo, or voodoo, however you want to look at it, they acknowledge that, and just like they acknowledge God. But you're not going to find no iconographic image of that or of God on no altar, no shrines, nowhere. Now, the little research I done on Saint Muerte, she become a energy that's woven in 1940 into the pantheon of the medicine that's being worked in Mexico. So from 1940 until present, it's beginning to pick up steam, and it's just not considered a West African deity. That is all over the world. Don't get me wrong with that, but it's just not. So that's why it don't show up as an Orisha or as an Voodoo spirit. But speaking of the Voodoo spirit, please, if I can, I want to touch upon today. Today is the first day of Voodoo Day in Benin, West Africa. We have a contingent of our New Orleans International Voodoo Day organization. Members are there right now in Benin. Please, let me just touch up on it. The event is held annually on January 9th and 10th, but starting in 2024, it will expand to 2 days, the 9th and 10th, which it is now. The celebration takes place in Ouida, a historical center of Voodoo, and it includes various activities such as ritual ceremonies, sacred dance, procession, and concerts. The event aims to promote Voodoo as a living spirituality and cultural heritage attracts thousands of visitors around the world. And with that, I want to say it's living. Death has its place, and we do honor death because we all have ancestors' altars. But in order to get to the realm of the ancestors, you have to pass through death. So death stands alone, and that's what I wanted to add.
We certainly do appreciate that, Elder Reggie, and all of your support and effort and work that you put into this platform, as well as NOIVD and the community. Again, I want to thank everyone in Facebook, my profile page, my groups, Queen Mother Sister Toni Val's profile page and groups, Elder Reggie's profile page, and his Shrine of the White Cloth group. We certainly appreciate you for listening and participating from that platform. We certainly are thankful for our international listeners and participants from LinkedIn, and there are many. We are thankful for our YouTube listenership and participants, both live as well as always in archive immediately after the podcast ends every night. And we are grateful for our Twitter X listenership and participants. I see you. It's a handful of you that show up every night, and I certainly see you, and I'm appreciative of your listenership and participation. And we're always thankful and grateful for our Instagram audience. Sweetheart loyalty, it's best. We certainly appreciate you for your loyalty and participation in the platform. Apostle Hudson 1, thank you for continuing to return and listen. Miss Pinky Adon 808, thank you so much for coming through. Streeta Divine, we certainly appreciate you, or Sharita Divine. Greetings to you, beloved. My new Gacha, Nukishia, greetings and salutations to you and yours. Kaori, I believe, Kaori-chan, thank you so much for coming through. I'm Hurt 91. Yes, you are. And thank you so much for being present. Lady Jazz Black, thank you for coming through. The Black Rose Cartel 911. I am with you in your endeavors, beloved. Lashandra, we certainly appreciate you. Lasandra Bodison, thank you so much for coming through. Abu Dahabi, one, we certainly appreciate you for coming through. And Kaylin, a big deal. Thank you so much for stopping through. And again, we continue to invite your continued support and participation in this live Monday through Friday, weeknight, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, usually about 30 to 95 minutes on a platform near you or by way of our QR code in the upper right corner of your screen. And that is all we have for tonight until Monday. Thank you so much, Elder Reggie. Take it over.
Yes, thank you, Divine Prince, and everyone in the collective audience. Our advertisements, it's carnival time in New Orleans. It's going to be February the 16th. We call it Fat Tuesday down here. It's also known as Mardi Gras. Please, if you could come down and support that event, please come down. Our next new moon ritual prayer and application ceremony will occur on the new moon, Sunday, January the 18th, time 6:30 p.m. in the zodiac of Capricorn. That location is 710 Cluid Street. We call it the Cluid Gardens. What we're doing is a ritual spiritual warfare gathering. We see what's going on in Minnesota and Portland, New Orleans, and other places, and we do prayers around that. We have a large selection and variety of Santa Muerte statuaries available at the Island of Salvation, Botanica. That location is 2372 St. Claude Avenue in New Orleans, Louisiana. And also, as we mentioned, our New Orleans International Voodoo podcast, I just want to touch on one thing before I close out. And as we talked about Voodoo Day going on right now, and the things that we're doing for the New Orleans International Voodoo Day, we do a ritual ceremony, which is led by our very own Divine Prince. So guys, please come down to New Orleans and see the magic. We do have sacred dance. We have a procession, which is led by me, Elder Reggie. And also, we're going to have a concert this year. So we are building as Benin continue to build and model ourselves after Benin and Haiti. We're not here just for show every night. We are trying to reach out to the community to build community. Please come out and support us. With that, I say, lest we forget, the spiritual medicine of voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that binds the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. We continue to have work to do. The ancestors see us, Santa Muerte see us, and all the gods see us. With that, I say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good night, everyone. We love you all, and we'll be back Monday.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night, Ashe and Odabo.
Tienen manos que no me agarren, si tienen pies que no me alcancen, si tienen boca que no me hablen, y todo el que intente chingarme que falle, tú que proteges y cuidas mis pasos, me le...
Please, allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this right in my DNA, yet I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the tables, flip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees. It's time you pay for your dirt and your showtime. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Oh, do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she's straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit Red. He looks me in my eye and says, you only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down.